So, you've probably heard this term floating around. GKE, Google Kubernetes Engine. It sounds kind of heavy, right? But what if I told you it's actually as simple as running like a giant magical amusement park? Seriously, today we're going to break down exactly what that means.
All right, let's jump right in with a cool idea. To really get what GKE is all about, just imagine for a second that you're the owner of this huge, sprawling online game park. I mean, it's massive, and you've got people from all over the world logging in to play your games.
Okay, so in your park, every single game, doesn't matter if it's a racing game or a puzzle game, it runs inside its own little self-contained toy box, right? And in the real tech world, we just call these things containers. It's a perfect name because they keep all the game's pieces neatly packed together.
But here's where the headache starts. When you have like hundreds, maybe even thousands of these game boxes, just keeping track of them is a massive job. You've got to make sure they're all organized, that they're running smoothly, that they're healthy. It is just a ton of manual work.
So, to solve this mess, you bring in this amazing tool called Kubernetes. The best way to think about Kubernetes, it's like your own personal, super efficient robot manager. Its entire job is just to automatically organize all your game boxes. Making sure they stay running and healthy so you don't have to lift a finger.
But, of course, there's a catch. Even with this awesome robot manager, you still have to build the entire park yourself. And I mean everything. The power grid, the actual structures for the rides, the main control room, all of it, from scratch. That's a huge, huge undertaking.
So there you are. You've got this great robot manager, but you're still stuck basically being a construction foreman. And this is where GKE finally enters the picture and just completely changes the game. All that hard, boring infrastructure work, it's about to be taken right off your plate.
And this is the core promise of GKE, right here. It's like Google just steps in and says, hey, you know what? Don't you worry about building the park. We'll handle all the construction, all the management. You just focus on what you do best, creating amazing games.
So that's the key takeaway right there. GKE is just Kubernetes, but it's Kubernetes made incredibly easy. Why? Because the entire underlying foundation, all that boring park building stuff, is built, managed, and maintained for you by Google. Okay, let's just quickly break down the lingo inside your new park. So, the whole park itself, that's GKE. All the rides, grouped together and ready for players, we call that a cluster. And then any single ride, or you could think of it as a single computer running your games, that's what we call a node. Simple, right? And this is really where the magic happens. GKE manages the really complex stuff for you, like the control plane. Just think of the control plane as the central brain, the mission control for your whole robot system. And with GKE, Google takes care of it completely. You never even have to think about it. All right, so Google's building the park for you. That's awesome. But they still give you a really important choice. How much control do you actually want? Let's look at the two different modes you can choose for your park experience.
So you've got two main flavors to choose from. First up, you've got Autopilot Mode. And yeah, it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's the self-driving theme park. You just tell Google what games you want, and it handles everything else, the building, the repairing, the scaling. Then you've got Standard Mode. Think of this as the DIY approach. You get a lot more control over the nuts and bolts of the infrastructure, but you guessed it, that also means you're responsible for managing it.
But here's the cool part. No matter which mode you choose, GKE comes packed with some incredible automatic perks that honestly make managing your park an absolute breeze. I mean, look at how powerful this automation is. You've got auto-scaling. So if a ton of new players suddenly show up, boom, GKE automatically opens more rides for them. What if a ride breaks down? Auto-repair fixes it, like instantly. And load balancing? That's your park attendant, making sure no single game gets too crowded. It's literally like having a world-class operations team on staff, 24/7. And maybe the best part of all, just how ridiculously easy it is to get started. You don't need a construction crew, you don't need a project plan. You can create your entire park with just a single, simple command. Like, you see this command here? Typing that is basically just saying, in plain English, hey Google, create a Kubernetes playground called K1 for me. And just like that, poof, GKE builds it for you. It's that simple.
Okay, I know that was a lot to take in. So let's do a super quick recap, just to make sure all these key ideas really stick.
So, let's lock it in. GKE, that's Google running the park for you. The cluster, all the rides in your park. A node, just one single ride. The control plane is the park's main control room. In Autopilot Mode, that's your self-driving, self-managing amusement park. Easy. So, look, if you only remember one thing from all this, make it this. GKE is like having a magical robot amusement park where Google builds, cleans, and runs everything for your apps. All you have to do is tell it what rides you want.
And that really brings us to the final and maybe the most important question. Now that Google is taking care of all the hard work of running the park, what amazing games are you going to build?